What's up, guys? How y'all doing today? I have returned for the second video this week that I said I was going to do, and let's get right down to it. But first, I just want to say subscribe if you haven't. Trying to get my channel remonetized, and I hope to as well. So, hope you guys are doing great out there, and let's start. Okay, now I came out with this video because, as you saw in my last video with my recap on the ChicagoLand Raceway for round 2 of Super Duper, as Cooksey calls it. And by the way, Cooksey, shout out again. I actually have a new point to make, and I'm going to share the banner right now. And there you see it. Would the ChicagoLand track have suited Marvin Musquin? And my answer to that would be yes. You know why? Because it almost resembled an outdoor national, almost like Daytona in a way, like an outdoor national version of Daytona. And of course, that's something that Cooksey had said on his video as well. So obviously, I think considering that Marvin notoriously does well at Daytona, but we did not see that this year because Marvin was on the sidelines with a wrist injury. In fact, that wrist injury pretty much cost him all of Supercross 2023. And of course, with Marvin going Supercross only as of a few years ago, it's just kind of understandable with KTM. I don't know if he's coming back for next year. I like to think he is, but like this banner says here, I do think the Chicagoland track would have suited Marvin Musquin. Because when you look at that track, that was a technical track, and everybody was making all the jumps. And although there wasn't much passing, if there was anybody who could certainly have come up with ways to make passes, Marvin was your guy. And if you saw what happened at the Red Bull Straight Rhythm almost a year ago, Marvin was certainly the unstoppable one, especially on a 252 stroke. And the Red Bull Straight Rhythm is all about scrubbing, as Ken Roxon said, and it is a technical track. And as I said earlier, Chicagoland was a technical track, and it was technical for the fact that they had a lot of big jumps, and of course, Jeremy McGrath was a master of technical stuff as well, as his Supercross background proves it with 72 wins. But Marvin would certainly have been a threat on this track if he weren't on the sidelines. Now, I like to think that if Marvin didn't exit the Supercross season so soon, we may very well have seen him qualify for Super Duper or SuperMotocross, as everybody's calling it, as Cooksey calls Super Duper. Because Marvin is a technical rider. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Chad Reed in a way with the technical aspects, because Chad Reed is a technical rider. And if you've seen Marvin's background, especially in motocross in Europe, Marvin would certainly have done a lot of good on this track. And do I think Marvin would have won? I think he would have had a chance, but I don't know how he would fare against Jet Lawrence. Although I like to think he would have took him, because Marvin is a technical rider, and of course, as you all have seen, what we saw Marvin do in motocross before he started going Supercross only. My money is that Marvin would have at least had a top 3 in him, because Marvin is from Europe. He's from France. And of course, given his background in motocross, you bet that Marvin would have the endurance to go the whole way, even though Marvin is getting up there in age. But you know what? I don't believe that, age has anything to do with it. I mean, Chad Reed went into his 30s and he still won races. And Marvin, of course, took the win at St. Louis last year in the Triple Crown. And, of course, that was a technical track. And Marvin knows how to ride on technical tracks. So, considering all the big jumps and all the motocross-style sections, and, of course, a lot of the resemblance to Daytona, I do believe that ChicagoLand was a track that was up Marvin's alley. But, of course, we'll never know because Marvin didn't qualify for Super Duper. And I'll tell you what, if Marvin is going to race the Red Bull Straight Rhythm, I'm already picking him for the win. You know why? Because he's undefeated at the Red Bull Straight Rhythm, especially on a 252 stroke. And considering that Marvin is a technical rider, he probably would give Chad Reed a run for his money if Chad Reed was interested. But I'm not quite sure if I don't know if sponsorship conflict would hamper Chad Reed's thing, of course. But you know, that's all that's in the mind. You know, I hope that Marvin's in for Supercross 24, but I guess we'll see what happens. I haven't seen anything on RacerX or anything that says that Marvin is going to retire. And you know what? I don't see Marvin retiring anytime soon. I just don't. Because Marvin only gets better. You know, I mean, as the season goes on, Marvin will get better, as I said. And unfortunately, we did not see proof of that this past Supercross season. And I'm not going to doubt that Marvin will take at least one win in 24 Supercross if he's in. And if he can stay away from injury, of course. So we'll see what happens. The countdown is beginning. We're only about 4 months away from Supercross. And, of course, the donations are coming to Ernée, France. We're sending Aaron Plessinger, Christian Craig, and RJ Hampshire. I do think we can win but I think a lot of it is going to depend on Christian Craig because he's the only question mark, as I said. I might address that sometime next week, but we'll see what happens. So anyway, guys, that's all for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And remember, subscribe, and I will be back with another video. And, of course, with Hawaii men's basketball season getting underway next week, expect some shots there. So whether I'm in the stands or on the court. So anyway, guys, like I said, subscribe, and I will catch you later. So long, folks.